Patrick Montero, and today I'll be presenting my Tableau 2 project. So to begin here, I will begin by sharing my screen. So begin with my first sheet. I began with doing a map and doing a sales and profit overview. Pretty much, if I hover over each state, I can see the profits and sales. And if you look here off to the side, the bigger the circle here, the bigger the sales. So I kind of did this in this way to compare each state and really see what state did better in sales and what state did poorly. I filtered it by color to, separate each one, just to make it stand out, add a little color to it. Moving along to my south and east region, I chose to do a map once again, um, to divide the south and east region here. Um, I noticed that there is 11 states here in the south region, and there's actually 14 states here in the east region. What caught my attention the most was actually Maine here in the east region. When I looked at Maine, it had 85,000 in profits. And then when I looked over here at Ohio, it had 20 million in profits. And looking at both of the states, they seem fairly the same like size, they're pretty much the same size states here. So that really caught my attention a lot. But then when I was, looking a little bit deeper, looking a little closer here, I noticed that the District of Columbia, it has 11,000 in profits. And then when I zoom in here, look at the size of DC here. It's not even that big. So I was really surprised as to why Maine has such low profits and sales. So moving along, as I broke this data down a little bit more, uh, I chose to do East Regions departments. Basically, this shows all the states of the East region here, and it shows, I divided it by the each department. So I have the ellipticals, rowing machine, and treadmills. So my goal here was trying to see what was the best seller. So for the first one, I have the ellipticals. You can kind of see Connecticut, Delaware, and obviously we see here District, Columbia, and Maine. Um, and you can see all the other states here. And then when I click here, I can see the rowing machines. They didn't do too great. Um, and then when I move along to the treadmills, it kind of picks back up a little bit. So I can come to a conclusion here. If we go back here to the rowing machines, look a little bit smaller, sales weren't that great for rowing machines. So I've come to a conclusion that rowing machines isn't the best seller. Doesn't sell the greatest, comparing these three departments here. So moving along, since Maine and DC seem to be like they have the smaller sales overall within all three of the departments. For my fourth sheet, I decided to do a comparison. So I broke it down a little bit further, and I did uh for my columns I did District Columbia and Maine, and I included the city for the rows and the zip code as well. So for District of Columbia, there's only one city, which is Washington. As you can see, as I hover over this, it shows me Washington and the department for ellipticals. It shows me the zip code, profits, and the sales. And as I hover over each one, it kind of shows me specifically which department did better. And then when I move along down here to Maine, apparently Maine only has two cities. I thought it maybe had more just because the state looks fairly bigger, but apparently it only has two. So we can compare here. In Lewiston, they sell ellipticals and they sell rowing machines, but they don't really sell treadmills. even though treadmills sell a lot better than the rowing machines. And in Bangor, they don't do too well with the ellipticals. Um, they don't sell the rowing machines, but they do way better with the treadmills. Um, so we can make this comparison here. Um, so definitely, I can come to a conclusion that maybe because Maine only has two cities, it really brings down the sales a good amount. Um, but even then, for it being such a big state, it really is still, kind of catches my attention a little bit. Um, so moving along to my states and or for to my dashboard, uh, I chose to include my sales and profit overview sheet and my horizontal bar graph here to show like specifically each state and the sales with each department, just to kind of have like an overview of what state, how each state did as far as sales within each department. So for example, here I have the ellipticals for every state here. And let's say I just want to look at a state and specifically, I don't know, let's take a look at Ohio. When I look at Ohio, I can see the trend here for ellipticals. They have 25 million in sales. I move along here to rowing machines, and it shows me the sales here, 8 million. Move on to treadmills, picks back up to 14 mil. So I think it was a great way of uh really, I thought this was a great correlation, having the states and showing here down below the which department was the best seller, as far as the ellipticals, the rowing machines, and the treadmills. Um, and then moving along here to my story, uh, my story was again it was pretty straightforward. Again, I have my overview or my sales and profit overview. Um, Then moving along to my east and south region comparison, it shows like the comparisons I made between each region. Um, and then the next one would be the east region departments, the east region departments. Um, the east region and department sales by state. Let's see here. Reason it's not showing the east states only. Um, take a look here. To do this here for my story. And voila. Alrighty, so here kind of shows my here I show my east region and department sales by state. Um and it shows my ellipticals, my rowing machines, and my treadmills. And then my next one was Maine and the District of Columbia, lowest sales comparison. These were the two lowest ones, so I chose to compare these. Um then I have my dashboard here. I have my dashboard here that shows my overview and my horizontal bar graph. Then since my main focus was on Maine, I chose to do I added, another storyline here to show Maine and specifically with the sales in each department. So here we have ellipticals, here we have rowing machines, and here we have the treadmills. Um, And that pretty much sums up the whole project. Uh, to come to a conclusion as Maine, maybe they should probably try doing a little bit more advertising and maybe work more on the marketing. So, like I said, more advertising, maybe automated advertising. Um, and clearly, we can see here, even though it has two cities, this city doesn't even sell rowing machines, and this city doesn't sell treadmills. Treadmills is fairly great, which, so maybe trying to working more on the marketing. I feel like the marketing is what could really boost the sales here and the profits for each one of these cities. Um, and that's pretty much my conclusion um, for Maine and as far as the sales and profits. Um, And that pretty much sums up the project. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much, and bye.